just ask members and ladies and gentlemen just to take their seats. First Minister, Deputy First Minister, Madam Secretary, members of the Northern Ireland Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. One of the most enjoyable aspects of the job of Speaker is that of welcoming the many visitors who come to Parliament buildings. And I'm delighted that they are so many. Some come to express support for what we do in this place. Others come in the hope of learning from it. All such visits represent interest in working together internationally to achieve common aims. In recent years, members of this Assembly have enjoyed opportunities to listen to addresses by leading political figures from within these islands and elsewhere in Europe. We've also enjoyed and benefited from the visits here by leaders in politics and businesses from the United States, all of whom have shown a tremendous commitment to the political and economic development of this part of the world, as well as their own. Among these have been US congressmen, senators and mayors, and while in the office of President by President Clinton. Circumstances at the time of his visit were such that a gathering like today's was not possible. But today we meet together as an Assembly whose members on all sides have shown and continue to show a commitment to making politics work in Northern Ireland. And as they have done so, they have received much support and encouragement from the United States of America, from its political and very much economic leaders. Real and lasting partnerships have been developed, and those we hope to continue to build, certainly in the years ahead. As with that in mind, that this morning it gives me great pleasure to welcome to our Assembly chamber the US Secretary of State, Mrs. Hillary Clinton. Madam Secretary, this is not your first visit to Northern Ireland, and so we are mindful that your coming here today reflects your ongoing personal commitment, as well as the commitment of the US administration to the political, social and economic development of Northern Ireland. And I am delighted that you accepted my invitation to address members of our Assembly this morning. And I call upon you, Madam Secretary, to address the members. Madam Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for your very warm welcome. But indeed, it is I who is honored today to be here in this Assembly, in this beautiful land that represents so much, not only to my country, but indeed to the world. A place where bullets have been traded for ballots, where ancient hatreds have yielded to new hopes, and the promise of a lasting peace has given people permission, after years of uncertainty and despair, not just to dream again of a better future for yourselves and your children, but to act on those dreams. So let me first pay tribute to the leadership of Peter Robinson and Martin McGuinness, your First Minister and your Deputy First Minister, and also to the other party leaders, Mark Durkan and Reg Empey, David Ford, Dawn Purvis, and Jerry Adams. Thank you for all that you are doing. And I'm told as well that here we have two other men who have been instrumental in the history of Northern Ireland, Dr. Ian Paisley and John Hume, and I welcome and thank them for what they have done as well. We meet at an important time in the history of Northern Ireland. In the 11 years since the Good Friday Agreement was signed, you have traveled a long way together on the road to peace. Armed groups have laid down their weapons. Empty streets are now bustling with activity. And here in this chamber, men and women who were once sworn enemies work side by side to secure the achievements of recent years, and to deliver a stable, prosperous future to the people you represent. These accomplishments are remarkable and a credit to you and to all those who have worked for peace, not only the leaders here at Stormont, but also Westminster and Leinster House, but most importantly to the thousands of ordinary citizens, mothers and fathers, whose determination to end the Troubles made them fervent activists for peace. At this time, we can recognize you have traveled a great distance, but you do not need me to tell you that your journey is not yet over. The promise of the Good Friday Agreement and the St. Andrews Agreement is not yet fully realized, and Northern Ireland is now facing a new challenge with the global economic downturn, which threatens some of the gains that you have made in the past decade. The value of peace is not only the absence of violence, it is also the presence of new opportunities for investment and jobs, for education and health care and political participation. So it is critical in this moment of economic turmoil to protect the progress you have already achieved and to build upon it, to ensure that your people continue to enjoy the rewards of peace and to embrace it for the long term. Since this assembly was restored 2.5 years ago, devolution has enabled you to work together to enact sensible, necessary reforms on everything from health to housing to environmental safety. No one ever said it was going to be easy. Of course, it is difficult. It is the nature of democracy. It is not easy in any legislature, as I know from experience, under the best of circumstances. But in these circumstances, the work you have done is all the more extraordinary. So please know that the Obama administration and the United States is committed to helping you finish your journey, to put far behind you the long years of division and conflict, to build confidence and trust across all communities and political parties, and to honor the hopes and sacrifices of your people by making whole and permanent Northern Ireland's emerging peace. Now, we know what it means to be supportive, and we also know what it means to meddle. And I want to be clear that when it comes to the important issue of devolution, of policing and justice, that is a decision for this assembly to make. But as a true friend, and I thank the Speaker for his kind comments, my hope is that you will achieve what you've set out to do, to complete the process of devolution. And I am confident that together you can go forward and harness the exciting human and economic potential that Northern Ireland has to offer. I know there has been considerable effort in recent weeks to address concerns and work toward a resolution during this important period. There have been many moments in Northern Ireland's peace journey when progress seemed difficult, when every route forward was blocked and there seemed to be nowhere to go. But you have always found a way to do what you believed was right for the people of Northern Ireland. As Scripture urges us, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And today, Northern Ireland stands as an example to the world of how even the staunchest adversaries can overcome differences to work together for the common and greater good. So I encourage you to move forward now with that same spirit of unstoppable grit and resolve. And I pledge that the United States will be behind you all the way as you work toward peace and stability that lasts.